In this video, we're going to be discussing Rabbi Yitzchok Sagi Nahor, which also known as Yitzchok the Blind. Sagi Nahor is a term from the Talmud, which means too much light. And the idea is that, number one, they didn't want to say that this person was blind, so they would say he's too much light, like a euphemism for being blind. Also, in a spiritual way, the idea of being blind, if a person is blind, the idea is that he has too much light for his faculties. In other words, his eyes are functioning, but on his spiritual, his soul has too much light and overwhelms his faculties, and therefore it doesn't work. In order for your body to work, your soul has to match the capabilities of your body. So if you have too much soul or you have too little body, then it doesn't work. So that is where that idea comes from. It seems that he was blind from birth, though there are debates about that, whether he was actually blind, but that seems to be what based on my research. Some say that he was the author of the Sefer HaBahir, which is a very important Kabbalistic work. Other later academics have disputed that. I'm not going to get into whether that's true or not beyond the scope of this video, but just to put it out there, it could be that he is the author, it could be that he is not. He is called the father of Kabbalah by, I believe it was by the Rabbeinu B'Chai or the Chida. He is also sometimes called HaChassid, which means the pious one, and he is the the son of the Ravid, which we discussed in a previous episode, a very important French rabbi. So he was also born, obviously, in the same place in France, Pasqueries, France, that area, southern France. One thing that he is very famous for, and again we discussed as well in the video we did about the Ravid, is he is known for his diagram of the 10 Sephiros, of the 10 attributes of godliness, and he is basically a very important Kabbalist in the sense that he is, this is how we know the Sephiros, these attributes, till today, is more or less based on this idea brought down by Rabbi Yitzchok Sagi Nahor. He's very important in the transmission of Kabbalah, as we explained. His father was the Ravid. He had a tradition from him, and he passed it on to his main students, were Rabbi Ezra and Rabbi Israel of Girona, of Spain, and later the Ramban, who we're going to talk in a future video, the Ramban, Rabbi Nachmanides, Rabbi Moshe ben Nachman, he got his tradition from them. So there's a direct transmission from Nachmanides to the Rabbi Yitzchok Sagi Nahor and the Ravid. They say about him that he was able to tell if somebody was a reincarnated soul or they were not a reincarnated soul. He could tell just by looking at them. He could also tell if somebody was ill. He would go to their bedside and he could tell if they were going to recover from their illness. Obviously, a very spiritual person who had able to perform miracles. Most of his writings are still in manuscript form in different libraries in Rome, but some have been printed over the years. We'll just go to talk about a few of them. Most of his writings are brought in other books. So, in other words, even though most of his actual manuscripts most of his writings are in manuscript form, he's quoted extensively in many, many Kabbalistic books. So, from that time period. So, his writings have been preserved in that way. But there is not really like individual books as much, again, unless you count the Sefer HaBahir, which we discussed earlier, this debate amongst academics, if he indeed wrote it. He wrote a very famous letter to the Ramban, the Nachmanides, and Rabbeinu Yonah. He also wrote a commentary on Sefer Yetzirah. There is some manuscripts of that, a commentary on the Sefer Yetzirah, which again is the most original Kabbalistic book. He also, there's more recently, a book was published from manuscripts called The Secrets of the Lighting of the Hanukkah Candles, that was written, that is attributed to him as well. So Rabbi Yitzchok Sagi Nahor, Rabbi Isaac the Blind, as he is known, very important in the transmission of Kabbalah. And I don't believe we have any halachic or Talmudic writings on him. Even though I did open up this the secret of the of the Hanukkah candles, it is mostly, seems to be mostly like, how do you light the Hanukkah candles, which would be in the Talmudic category. So, but obviously his father was a great Talmudist, so we would assume that he studied a tremendous amount of Talmud as well. And again, was part of these, when his father, the Ravid, talks about having revelations from Elijah and revelations from a Maggid, of a supernal teacher, would teach them the secrets of the Torah. He was part of that as well. So thank you very much for joining, and we'll see you in the next video.